posted Mr. Miggle's afternoon snack. He got lots of love. But then Miggle started popping up in other places. And at first it was fun, but then it kept going. They were making Mr. Miggle say things Mr. Miggle
How do I do this?
And I like my freedom to do what the fuck I want. So if I want to wake up tomorrow, obviously right now I can't do it, and fucking say I want to do whatever, I don't want to have to fucking.
I roll
Rube,
later.
that's what we call that right there. You like, yo, what's good? You
He
good?
trying that nigga said, "Come here, nigga. What's up?" He
Yo,
tight.
you see next to them Yahoo?
Yeah, I'm like, yo, come here.
Who blasted Kamala as well by the looks of it? I just saw a thing.
Oh man.
Oh, I got a question. I got a question.
Which blasted do you mean, Rube? Blasted or blasted?
Well, see, just
Ooh,
trying to have a. I don't. You
ooh,
see, no, don't throw up
ooh,
laughing emojis, Corinne. Don't encourage
ooh,
him.
No, I'm
Well,
not
she
doing
get
laughing
blasted a
emojis.
lot. She get blasted a lot, so I was just
I'm
checking.
amazed.
Phil, don't talk about my African sister like that. Okay,
She's not black.
she is.
Thank
First of all, she's like
you.
another Obama.
She is
This one
my
might be
African
worse.
sister.
This
African
one might be
sister.
worse. You're ridiculous. You're claiming that thing to be African, bro. Don't be disrespecting people. And fucking Nigerians are gonna come after your ass.
No, to
They
be
don't like
perfectly
us
honest,
anyway. I really don't care because they really don't like us anyway. ATL
no,
knows
no.
they don't like us anyway. They call us niggers with the ER. They definitely don't like us, and I know that for a fact because my boy's family. I couldn't even
But I'll
go to
tell
the
you what,
spot.
yeah, yeah. I'll tell you what, though, guys. To be honest, on a serious note, I think it's a very sad state of affairs where your race actually matters. That's just my opinion. I know it does. I know it's a different dynamic, but I think in today's day and age, when your race is a polling point, there's a problem with the system, right? In my opinion,
But it's always been rule.
oh no, I agree, and as I said, everything's different, everything's, but it's just sad because like I've seen things where it's gone like 4 years ago she was Indian, 4 years later she's African. It's like it's that important. You have to check. It's like, well, hang on, it's like, why don't you just be Kamala and come out with your policies and just say this is what I want to do
That
for
people won't
everyone.
let you do that. Exactly by what you said. So she's trying to conform and game the system, which I really don't. I mean, it is what it is. Kudos to her, but it is what it is. If you're black, sometimes it's convenient for you to be black. If you're white, it's always convenient. If you're other,
Oh, here we
sometimes it's
go.
convenient.
If you're white, it's always convenient. You know what?
Yes, it's always convenient. It's
Bro,
convenient for them. They listen. I don't give a fuck. First of all, but it's a reality. They're privileged, bro. And even if they're not, they believe that they're entitled, bro. And this shit goes on. Even
You're saying in America, right? You're saying in America,
yeah,
right,
I've
Corona?
never
In
I've never
America.
lived an extended time like a year in another place except for the Dominican Republic, and that shit don't even. And even in the Dominican Republic, hold up, there's racism because the motherfuckers over there don't know their history, and they think they look down on Haitians like motherfuckers look down on Mexicans over here. So the fucking Dominicans over there think
Yo,
they're
it's
better than the
word.
Haitians.
The
Yeah, no, think
border
they're
is
better than the
worse.
Haitians.
They kill them all
Listen,
day, bro.
listen all day. I'm telling you, that's what it is. I just thought about it. And if they knew the history, they wouldn't even be a fucking Dominican Republic side of the fucking island if it wasn't for the Haitians. But they freed us twice because the fucking Indians and the mulattoes and the fucking
The
mixed race that was
Spaniard.
left, yeah, that
The
was left there.
Spaniard.
They beat the motherfucking the Europeans twice, the Spaniards and what the fuck was the other ones that invaded over there?
The
Well, anyways,
French. The
they
French.
invaded. Yeah, they invaded twice. So the second time, the Haitians literally had to stay there. I believe it was 22 years. I can't recall. I haven't went back in this shit to be able to cause some stability. And they started killing off all the weak motherfuckers. The motherfuckers didn't even want to fight for their own shit. They were just getting raped and killed and all that shit. So because they're those motherfuckers are pure whatever the hell they are bred because they ain't come from Africa. They was fucking there. Um, they went back and took their pure people and put them on that west side of the island, which is Haiti now, but the whole island is Isla Española because it's just one island. It's just a little small river you could walk over that divides it. But yeah, there's racism everywhere, bro. So in some type of way, there's always hierarchy, and it seems like people that get looked down upon want. Oh, it's like, oh, so Legacy thinks he's stronger than me. He's gonna bully me. I'm gonna bully the next motherfucker. To put it in more layman terms and shit. And I think that's the mentality. And I don't even think that's something that is like human that we haven't. I think it's something that's like passed down because there's ignorance just being passed down. We really don't have all the information and the facts, bro. So we're fucking conditioned from day one because we have a certain color that we're better than somebody else. That's the fucking parents and everybody. And I don't even think that they believe. I'm not saying everybody, but the vast majority of people don't believe that there's anything wrong with that because that's the belief that okay, I look a certain way, and it goes with everything else. It goes even with women. Back then, even in the 80s, the 90 something percent of the models were fucking pencils, anemic motherfuckers. And then once it started getting like the Latinas and the African Americans and whatever other races involved, and people,
Latinx.
Yeah, people started getting oh
Whoa.
no, the ass now, and because the ass wasn't in, so now you got the white girls trying to look like the black girls or Spanish, and then you got the Spanish and the blacks trying to look like the white girls using the fucking eyelashes and the fucking hair, straightening their hair. So it's just, I think confusion is part of whatever the fuck if there is an agenda, because this shit just can't be by happenstance, and it's decades and decades of fucking conditioning, bro, for all this shit, man. We're just fucking puppets, man. And I include myself because we're part of the fucking minority, majority. My
Bro,
opinion. My opinion.
bro, but what about the
With some
same
facts.
race? Well, what about the same race? One has more money than the other, and they treat themselves the same way.
This goes on
And
everywhere, ATL.
it's just the ego problem,
Yeah,
bro. You
that's
know what I mean?
socioeconomic. That's socioeconomic motherfucking racism. It happens here and it happens everywhere. In DR too. But wherever you have paper, that's why they've made money the important thing. That's why everybody kills for it and does whatever for it and kills their fucking mother. And most motherfuckers, especially white people, they don't give a fuck. They don't care about white, black, or whatever. They'll kill. They'll burn their fucking babies for fucking to get paper. Like it is what it is, bro. And it's just if you have money, people look at you a different. Why do you think that we spend the most money in designer shit and all this material shit than anybody else? And if you look at the numbers, we can't afford none of that shit. And motherfuckers that are paid don't spend their money on that unless they own a piece of the fucking company. That's where they spend the money on shares. And then they take a fucking, they keep the shares and put that shit in a fucking trust, and then just take loans against the fucking shares. So it's not motherfucking it's all a tax write off, no interest on the shit. It's just a fucking game, bro. And we're fucking wild, we're bottom feeders. We have no information. Well, the information is there, but it is what it is, man. It's too many decades of programming to just deprogram from one day to the next, in my opinion.
You gotta
Hey,
learn.
yeah, what you talking about, ATL? That's class. That's classes. That's why they separate themselves in classes. The haves and the have-nots. They put it in classes. You know what I'm saying? With racism though, I can't really speak too much on. It is true. That's why I asked you specifically in the states, Corona, because we reside in the states. But it's in every country, the form of racism. But regardless, it's a. I would say it's a human reaction to have a different reaction around someone of a different color than you, regardless of anything. I'm not saying it's supposed to be a negative. I'm saying just a different reaction. It just happens to be negative in some form or fashion based upon how obviously what you were just talking about, what we were all just talking about. Whether it be classes or whether it be, whatever it may be. Maybe you brought up on racism or different things like that. But yeah, the shit is worldwide, man. It don't matter where you go. But here in the states, yeah, man, yeah, you would be crazy to think there's not some form of privilege. And I won't say privilege only exists for white people. It does exist for classes as well. But even once you get past classes, there is some form of yeah, some form of something. I won't say what it is, but it's definitely something.
Yeah, but don't. Okay, if you raise um a kid with, so let's say you take a. Okay, I'm gonna give you a perfect example. So I don't see no because I was raised in New York and DR, so I really never. I've experienced the racism, but I've never. I had white partners, Haitian, Nigerian, one. It's so diverse, right? And in DR, same, right? So don't you think? Because I've had plenty of people, white people's houses here and in DR that I went to treat me like their son. I think it's the upbringing. So that's why I say the conditioning. Because if you're raised within a community or an area, and especially in the household, that they don't see no color barrier or whatever, even though society is deeming this a certain way, those kids will not be raised with that mentality.
Their core beliefs are different.
Definitely different, completely different. You know what I'm saying? And it's either the friends, and in the household, and even sometimes in the household, because I've been in that. I just told my Nigerian partner I could never go to their parents' house because they see us as niggers. They think we're beneath them. Um, his parents is fucking racist as fuck against everything unless you're from there, and he was mad cool. Why? Because he went to public school. He didn't want to go to fucking Catholic school, whatever private school. He went to public school, and in public school in New York City, you're interacting with every fucking body. So he grew up with us. He didn't live on the block, but he hung out on the block because he met we met fucking what kindergarten or some shit all the way to fucking high school. So you can't, and still, no matter his household is one thing, but you're mostly in the streets and in school, so you're interacting with everybody. So that's a big difference, bro. Like, I don't know. I think all that shit is from ignorance. Period. Oh, my bad, Rube. I was gonna say, oh, Rube. I was gonna say, I found all of the Olympic Games and ATL and everybody that wants to watch it. It's on a thing called a channel. It's called the Peacock. It's actually the actual bird, the
Yeah,
peacock.
it's yeah on
Okay.
over here. Yeah, over here we actually it's televised on all the channels. It was more. I'm just thinking of what times. But what I was going to say is very quickly. You touched upon it. But there was a study years ago between like the hatred between uh countries in Great Britain. Why some people hate other people, and the study suggested that if you took a generation, so 10 years, so if you took children away from their parents for 10 years, obviously it would never happen. The prejudice would go. The families raise their children on prejudices, your neighborhoods, like you said, Karen, all of that. You're not born with this. It's instilled in you, whether you're and here's an example, right? You could take it as far as religion. And again, it's like saying, so if you're born in the UK, America, you're probably born Christian. If you're born in India, you're probably a Sikh. If you're born in Pakistan, you're probably a Muslim. So are you? So isn't it ironic that the faith you believe in happens to be the country in which you're born in, and you believe the faith is correct? Do you see what I'm trying to say? So sometimes it's where you're born and your upbringing determines your actual beliefs, and
So you're
that's
saying they're
why
products of their environments.
Yeah, we know that
exactly.
definitely, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean it's
And
definitely a huge factor. But I
oh
think
yeah,
people do definitely do have free will to break away from it. But if you've never had any
How
role models break away from it, then how do you know you can break away from it?
well
it doesn't exist to you?
well the
Yeah,
thing is,
it's not in
if
your reality.
no, it's not reality because if you're, I mean, religion's the strongest stranglehold, right? You know, when I mean stranglehold, I mean it in a nice way. It's like you're raised, and every day or week you're going to a church, a mosque, a synagogue, and every time you go home, your parents are telling you this is the way, this is the way. And remembering your formative years, your parents could tell you to eat this, and you'd eat it, whether it's poison or not. Whatever the upbringings and the people around you and the people you're meant to care for, whatever they say is his goal. And then you go to school, and the school tells you the same thing, and you turn on the TV, and most likely the president or the prime minister says the same thing. So everywhere you're around, it's just telling you that is the way, that is what it is, that is how it is. If anyone else thinks any different, they are beneath you. If anyone thinks any different, they're a danger to you. If anyone says anything to you about this, they are wrong. But everyone's doing it, which is remarkable, right? It's interesting.
Hey, that's cool. They're showing all the countries going through the river and shit. Yeah, they deep.
What happened, ATL? I didn't hear
They
you.
sh- they showing all the countries get there through the river. They got like all the countries on boats.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the goddamn the immigrants.
No, no, no.
I said
I was
it's getting that bad. What the fuck? Because at one time they were showing I don't know if you saw it. I saw it on multiple occasions. There was like thousands and thousands and thousands of them just marching. And as they're coming up through Central America, whatever the fuck they was coming from, and a lot of them stayed in Mexico, and but the vast majority it was just marching, coming over the, literally walking over the goddamn got through the goddamn fence, whatever bridge they passed, and then they walked right into this motherfucker. I was like, this shit has to be fucking. This is bullshit. It can't be real. But yeah, it was official.
Yeah, this year, even Saudi Arabia got their people there too. I didn't know Saudi had a team.
Yo, so I'm on the Peacock channel. You could go to all sports.
It should be broadcast. See, and here's the thing, HL. Sorry, Corona. The Olympics has always been free. So it should be broadcast on any station
Oh yeah,
that
we
cares
have
to.
it. It's
Like,
on.
yeah,
It's
I was gonna say,
on.
yeah,
It's on three
yeah,
stations right now.
yeah.
Three.
That's right. Yeah, I was gonna say the Olympics. The Olympics has always been free. So yeah, it should be on a lot of channels. Corona should be on every channel that cares to show it. It's the most watched event um, every 4 years. It breaks all records because every country is pretty much in it. So you've got every country in the world watching it, right? Um, and then it's the Olympics. Then following that, it's the World Cup. But yeah, the Olympics is huge.
Yeah.
They like to
What's the
broadcast
name?
what they're going to do to us on there as well. Do you remember the opening games in 2012? The opening ceremony?
That was in London. That was, wasn't it?
Yeah. Do you remember what the ceremony was?
I remember Mr. Bean playing, and I remember the was it the archer the like on the arrow that was on fire that he fired. No, I don't remember.
This is
What,
the one with
probably.
all the children who were put in like beds with like the weird Grim Reaper character, like that was there. He was like, I don't know, supposed to be like a Voldemort type character, and then they basically told us about Corona in that opening ceremony. If you look, there's like a giant germ on the floor and a bunch of people wearing masks and all that stuff. And that was in 2012 that they did that. Go back and watch the
Yeah,
opening ceremonies of 2012, and they basically broadcast exactly how 2020 is going to go down. So those ceremonies are massive, rituals to them. So they like to broadcast what they're going to do to us because, yeah, they kind of have to karmically. They got to tell us what's going to happen. If you're smart enough to pick up on it, good for you. If not, hey, they're kind of released of the karma because you're not paying attention. So I highly recommend anybody go back and watch that 2012 opening ceremony, and you'll be blown away at fucking what they're trying to tell you.
I think that opening scene, if I'm not mistaken, Corona, and I do, and I mean Moxa, is they were playing like a Roald Dahl or Charles Dickens. That was the story behind it. So I do vaguely remember. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I remember the children in the bed and things like that. I think they were reenacting like the BFG or some kind of thing like that. But yeah, you might be right. Yeah, there's probably a lot of hidden meaning. The fact that Lady Gaga's performing tonight,
Nah,
that for
she's
me.
performing right now, Rue. She's right
Oh,
now
is she
performing.
performing that? No, I've got no
She's
interest
fat
in
as
watching her.
hell.
Yeah, I've got no interest in watching her because
Yeah,
you know
she,
what? Well, as
she
soon as I
gained a lot of
saw
weight.
Yeah, as soon as I saw on stage with that other woman like throwing up all over her as part of her audience, I thought, nah, I don't want none of that. That was just disgusting.
Nah, she's doing a Lily theme in French. I don't know if
Oh
you
no,
know how to speak French.
yeah, I'm not. Well, she probably doesn't even know how to speak. She just learnt the lines, right? But Celine Dion can speak French. If if she, you said she might be there, but she looked really ill. So I don't know what
She
state she'd be in.
was she was
Yeah,
dying almost. She has something where her body muscles get tight
yeah,
on her or some shit.
yeah. She has that. Yeah, she has that issue, doesn't she? I did see that. There's a documentary on her. But yeah, she can speak French for sure. She's French Canadian, so yeah.
Stiff person syndrome.
Mm. When you kiss me like this, and you hold me like that. Yeah, but Moxa, yeah, there's a lot of interesting things going on right now, and yeah, it's I agree with you. It will all be revealed. It will all be revealed.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I think it's already happening. I mean, you already know how I feel about it.
I don't know how you feel about it.
Oh, yeah, I mean, the Great Awakening, that shit is happening. Um, without a doubt. I mean, who knows what the real timetable of it is, but yeah, it's definitely happening. I think there's already enough signs to show that these people don't have the kind of control they thought they did, or they've lost it. I think if they were really in as control, like had as much control as people thought, that things wouldn't be so fucking crazy. Because I think that I think they're really exposed. I mean, just in the last, I mean, yeah, it's not on the news, but like people all over the internet are waking up.
Yeah, Corona. I mean, Moxa. The thing that I think happens throughout time is you every now and again get a real good person, say like Martin Luther King or I don't know. I'm just saying like Gandhi, Mother Teresa. I'm not particularly saying they were particularly great people. I'm not. I'm just using examples. A
Yeah,
JFK,
man.
like someone who just comes along right. Someone who just comes along right, who upsets the apple cart. That's probably the best way of thinking. Like an Elon Musk, someone who has gained great notoriety, which Donald Trump maybe. Something that's just outside of the norm. That's why I said
Oh,
maybe not a
the
good person as
Antichrist.
such. No, but mate, that's why I said maybe not a good person as such, but more so someone who upsets the norm. And the problem is, and I will keep saying this, um, if people can't see the fall of what's going on right now in Europe, in America, it's falling like never before, and it's going to take a real big change to make that happen. It's not a matter of this president or that president. It's an ideology,
Yep.
and it's a system that is absolutely destroying the fabrics of what made these countries great. And again, you just need to look around. And as I've said to many people, like someone says, like Great Britain, and we say over here, well, the great in Great Britain's not there anymore. And like the greatest nation in the world, people say America. I say the same thing. But what's great about it? There's some things, but right now, it needs help, and that's all. And if help doesn't come, it's just going to keep building up like a snowball, and that's for everywhere. So yeah, right now, Moxa, it's a bit of a mess.
Yeah, it's birthing pains. You know what I mean? I really
Yes.
think that there's some smart people out there. Look, it can't just be conspiracy theorists or people who look into alternative information that have figured shit out. There's got to be smart people in high places that see what's coming for mankind and have said, no, that's not going to be the case, and we're going to stop it. And I think that's that, like, the human spirit is good, man. And so I think that, and again, I think if people are properly informed, they wouldn't make the decisions they're making. So if you have people purposefully keeping information from the masses and making them stupid on a grand scale, I mean, are those people even at fault? They don't even have all the information, you know? So, like, they're just being manipulated. And I think at some point, you know, some people saw what was coming and they were like, no, it's not going to happen, and we need to put some kind of plan into motion or whatever to make it happen so that that's not the case. I mean, I can't prove that 100%, but I don't need to. I can just feel it. I mean, I think people are ultimately good. I mean, maybe I'm crazy for thinking that, but that is what I think. And I think if people are properly informed, like, bro, we have no fucking clue, some of the mysteries of the world and everything else. And I think that there are people who do know it. And I think the information does exist. I think it's been purposefully hidden from people, to control them. And, that shit can't stand forever,
people are good. I've always maintained that. Um, I just believe the people in charge are really just making people stupid.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
really like because the way I look at it, right, Mark. So like, it just even take what's going on in the UK right now, France right now, America right now. Just look at the people that you're looking at representing your country. Just look at it.
yeah,
Just look at
they're
it,
they're deep
they're
state.
yeah, but forget the titles. Just look at the characters of these people. Just look at what they say. Just look at them. Just look at how they behave and how they act. You don't need to do a deep dive in seeing the lies that they've told. All you have to do now with social media, just look back on everything they've said over the last 4 years, 8 years. You just need to look at it and look how they change week after week after week, lie after lie after lie, and yet there's hundreds and millions of people who just go, "Oh yeah, that's fine." And I'm just like, like over in the UK, I knew this government wasn't going to stay in power. The whole country knew it. Why? Because of lies, Max. Right? Everyone knew the Tories were not going to be in power because they lied after lie after lie after lie after lie. It gets to a point where if you continually keep believing the lie, then you almost get what you deserve, right? And that's the way I kind of see it. So it's like the Tories are out, Labour's in. Now you've just got to hope this guy comes in who's going to not be dragged into it. But as you know, I always, it's hard not to be. But he's done a couple of good things. He's done a couple of good things, and we'll see how it goes. Go ahead, Leg.
Hey, so I would like to think I'm under the same pretense that people are naturally good people, but from my own experience, I learned that that's not always the case, and it goes back to the same point. If you can argue that people are a product of their environment, then you would have to agree with what I'm saying because we live in an environment where we've watched people do the wrong things and be rewarded for them. We've watched people tell lies and they don't get in trouble. So then you start to believe, well, maybe I could tell a lie, maybe I can tell two, maybe I can tell three, and not be held accountable for it, not be, held responsible for it, not face anything negative for it. And it does become a form of a product of environment. And the only reason why I say this is because they say this is statistics, so take it for what it is. But they say statistically, when things happen to people by other people, they say it's usually the people that are closest to you, not people that you don't know. So how is that the case that if everyone is nice, then you're going to be nicer to people that you know, correct? But statistically, that's proven to be wrong. Where the people you are closest to are usually the ones that do you wrong before someone who doesn't know you. And people who you don't know, you really just can only gauge them by your interaction with them, but you're still gonna have your guard up in some regard because you're wary of how you invite people in or things of that nature. So I don't know. All I'm saying is the world as it sits right now in a lot of different places. It's not in all countries, but in a lot of countries, there is a lot of people who are there. There are a lot of bad things happening, and a lot of people doing bad. They're not being held responsible. They damn sure don't account for accountability, and it's becoming a standard that you can act an ass and almost in a sense be rewarded for it. And they always say too. There's the saying: that the good people finish last, whether you're a guy or girl, whatever. They always, why do they say that? Good people finish last. Why is that said if everyone in the world are primarily good? And to back even further to the point, right, about an ideology of whether you're against another race or not. And again, I can only speak for the states. Our public schools are an indoctrination camp. I
Facts.
don't care what anybody says because they've never been able to prove it wrong. They're an indoctrination camp.
100.
So you can wake up every day as a child in your home and not see racism, but then be presented situations of racism when you go to school. And as a child, you're at school more hours a day by planned indoctrination. You spend more time at school than you do at home. So if you're seeing those things play out at school, and you're seeing situations play out, and again, you're seeing bad kids get away with stuff, you're seeing bad things happen and people not get, then you kind of again a product of your reality, and maybe you adopt becoming racist, or you adopt become being doing bad things, or having bad behaviors. So is it true, as all I'm saying, that most people are born innately nice, or on the right side? I would agree. This is what I would say. I would say people are innately born with happiness, and when you're happy, you usually treat others in a different manner than when you're upset. When you're upset, you treat people in a different manner than when you're happy. And most
What do you think
people
about
are not.
informed? Does that
What?
factor into what you're to what you think?
What do you say
Like,
about what? About
it,
what?
the more informed people are, the differently they act.
Well, of course. Well, knowledge is power. Well, knowledge is a form of power. Yeah, I would agree with that. But most people don't. Well, that goes back to school as well, Mark, because you're not taught to have your own thought process in school.
I agree.
You're taught to reverberate what's in the school book, or you fail. You're not taught to free think. And then you get to a point where you're so used to relying on the school for your information that when new information is presented to you, you don't disagree, or you don't agree with it because it's not brought to you by a source that you're used to getting your information from, whether that be school, media, news, whatever the case may be, an adult, whatever that comes into you new. So, I mean, yeah, I think information helps to answer your question. I think information can help a person to decide what it is they're doing, or whether awareness is probably a bigger part of it, because most people are not even aware if they're doing something wrong. Because again, if you've walked around your whole life being an ass or being racist or something like that, and you're used to that, you see people doing that on a regular basis. In your mind, you're not going to think you're doing anything wrong.
Yeah,
In your mind,
that's
you're
just
going
the
to be
standard.
thinking this is the standard.
Yeah.
Exactly my point. So it becomes a different, it's a mind. It becomes a different mindset there.
So I guess I would ask. I mean, so that kind of. I mean, I agree with you, Legacy, and again, I think that comes back to the idea that, look, if mankind itself is being fooled by a force, whatever. Let's just say some people have knowledge, and they've crafted a reality for people that isn't even close to like the actual reality. If people had the information that they were fooled, or that there was some other thing that these people were keeping from them, or whatever, it could be a catalyst for an awakening, I would think. Because personally, when I found out more about like the world, and what's really going on, I became a totally different person. Now, I'm not saying that would be the standard, but I think that, again, you teach, like you said, if you're a product of your environment and you don't even know what you're doing is wrong because it's just what everybody around you is doing, then you would think that the more informed people are, the more they're able to have more control over their destiny. I would say. So, like you said, these schools are public indoctrination camps. You know, they don't teach us anything real. I mean, as soon as you leave and you start looking into stuff yourself, you realize everything you know is nonsense. So there has to be something said for the idea that, you know, people would want to keep certain things out of the masses. I mean, it's right out of 1984, right? If we don't teach people things, then they have no way of knowing what they're even looking at, you know? So those secrets can only stay hidden for so long. I mean, I think karmically, the universe won't put up with it, I think. And that's why I think we're living in the time we're living in right now, because there's a mass awakening that's on the horizon, you know? There's nothing that's going to stop it. Personally, I mean, that's my personal belief, and I don't expect anybody else to adopt that belief, but I'm also, you know, this is also based on everything I've looked into over the years. I mean, I think it's been a slow trickle of things leaking out to the public, and I think that there's a flood coming. And I think when that flood hits, it's the whole world is going to change. I mean, literally, when that happens. And I don't know what the timetable for it is, but I do think it's inevitable. I mean, I want to see it within our lifetime. I think it's already, there's enough clues to show that it could happen within our lifetime, because there's things people talk about now that nobody ever talked about 15 years ago. And even further back, it was never even a discussion. You know, it wasn't something that you were, you know, introduced to as a person. You know, like you couldn't. The internet fucked everything up for these people. I really think. I think they saw it as a way
I
to.
say that shit every day.
Yeah, I
When
think
they go back,
they
when they
had
go
every
back in
intention of
time,
using it to control us, and it's going to have the opposite
yes, and it
effect.
went out and it went crazy. I
Yeah,
think when they go back, they're gonna stop this shit from leaving the base.
they're going to stop what?
They're gonna stop this technology from leaving the, because they mostly use it in the motherfucking army base and shit.
Yeah.
They're gonna stop from leaving the base, bro. They're gonna keep it there whenever they go back in
Well,
time.
I mean, if you prescribe to anything esoteric or have looked into stuff, I mean, the rumor on, you know, fucking whatever, said that Aleister Crowley and his cronies, you know, they conducted a seance, and the being they contacted, called Pan something or whatever, looks like a gray alien, told them that if they wanted to have total control or over mankind or some whatever, they would need to find something called silicon. And then, you know, that guy Jack Parsons or whatever, he was like an astrophysicist or something. He was good friends with Aleister Crowley. I mean, these guys all had a hand in creating computer systems, you know. And it's actually really interesting how circuit boards kind of look like the sigils, like magical sigils. If you start getting into magical sigils and looking at what that stuff is, you know, the similarities between computer boards and sigils, and not even that, just the way like Egypt and these different cities were laid out. Bro, don't even get me started. These fucking buildings, you know, all these Tartarian buildings and whatnot, they're all power conductors. I mean, yeah, dude, wait till you. I can't wait, bro. I fucking can't wait. I'm so fucking
Yeah,
hyped.
there's a couple of things you said, Moxa, and which resonated with me. One was when things leak, and I agree with you. Things do leak out. There are people in this world who have leaked things out, but you know what? The machine is so powerful, it makes people's natural reaction to say they're lying.
I totally get
It makes
that, which
people's
is why
natural
I think
relation
there is
to
one thing in particular that, when proven, has enough oomph and power behind it
yes,
because it's provable. And I know what that one thing is. Okay. And I think it's definitely in the middle of happening, because in 2013, it wasn't even a conversation. And in 2014, it became a conversation. And the number of people who know it to be true has risen exponentially since that time. They're
because
talking
that's
about.
happened in
Sorry?
because that's like happened because that's like that. So that was point one, and again to your point, that's happened time and more. If you want to go to the bigger picture, Jesus Christ, he came along.
100%.
He
I mean,
he
just
said
God,
what he
I think
was,
personally, just the idea
and
that God exists is
yes,
really the thing.
yes,
Because
and
you
what
can get into debates with people about how Jesus is a parable and how everybody has, you know, if everybody's a reflection of God, then everybody, you know, you could start to pull out a lot of symbolism with the story of Jesus, and not to mention that there's been other people in history, like other, you know, demigods or whatever, that have a similar story about their birth and everything else. I mean, you could get into all that and start to see the symbolism pulled up. But I think the bigger picture is the idea of an intelligent creator, and that's
fine.
100%
And then
true.
Moxa, real quick,
Yeah.
let me just get my second. So there was that, and the second thing is that I think that what you touched upon, which I think was very important, was like, so when how many times do you have to find out that you've been lied to? Whether it's once, twice, is it 5, is it 10, is it 20 times? And I would argue the fact that the people who control the narrative, whoever they might be, have told more lies than the truth. But yet so many people, so many, millions, are quite happy to go along with that truth. And let's be clear, the day-to-day things like, oh, it's going to rain tomorrow, it's going to this tomorrow, that's irrelevant. But when it comes to things like, I don't know, I don't even know, what's a big example? You could say things
NASA.
like NASA, okay, wars, all different things like that, right? Or enemies, and I'll give you another example. It's like history. How history gets written is normally by the victors, and a lot of it gets missed out. But go ahead, Leg, before you forget your point.
Hey, so 2 points. The first one, before I forget it, is the internet. And I do agree, things spun out with the internet. I don't think it's ever going to get exposed. Why? Because the internet is getting ready to evolve again. And people love the thought of it. And what is that? AI. AI is going to spin us further into a wormhole, in my opinion. This is why I'm not a fan of AI. You're teaching computers to take control of your life, not only your life, but your information. You're teaching them to take control of your interactions. You're teaching them to take control of how they interact with you, your emotions, and everything else. You're implanting with AI. I personally am nervous with it because, again, it's an evolution of the internet. So if the internet spun us out of control, AI will take us further down. And I've even seen it now. There are pictures. People post pictures of Jennifer Lopez on Facebook, and they say this is what Jennifer Lopez looks like at 50. You're an idiot. Every last one of those pictures, bro, are fucking AI created pictures. J-Lo looks nothing like these photos that are on AI, but you have people commenting and saying, "Oh my God, it looks so amazing. She looks great."
Yeah.
That's just one example because you can't
So
tell the difference between AI. Well, hold on, Mark. Well, hold on.
go
You
ahead.
can't tell the difference between AI and what's actually real. But those things can be created using AI. It's a diversion from reality. But the second piece, right? The second piece I'll say to you, Mark, I don't agree that out of nowhere things will change. And I hope you're right. I can hope all day you're right. But even in the book, even in the Bible, it says that faith without works is dead. And just to explain that, you can hope and pray for health in your life. You can pray that you make more money. You can pray that someone will change your situation. But if you as an individual don't get your ass up and do something to change your situation, your faith is dead because there's no work that's put into it. And right now, we live in a okay. Let me take that back. Right now, I live in a society where no one is working, or there's not very many people I can tell you that I talk to, interact with, that are working for a better society. Motherfuckers are championing hop to a girl talking about spitting on the genitals of a man, and they're parading her as a fucking goddess and giving her money and putting her on platforms and upholding her on a fucking pedestal because of a state I never in my fucking life ever thought I would ever see the day we see some shit like that. That is fucking crazy. So while I hope with you, I hope and I can pray, but faith without works is dead. Someone's gonna have to do something. Until then, we'll keep going further and further into this. My
Yeah. So I don't disagree with you. I think, but I think that what you're describing again is a symptom of a lack of true knowledge and true understanding. And I get that what you're saying is nobody, you have to work to attain that, and I do agree with you. But like you said, people are products of their environment, and so how do you catch up all this time lost on all this misinformation? For thousands of years, people have been changing history and all this kind of stuff. There's like a massive learning curve, right? So I personally think that there needs to be some kind of event that wakes people up from their sleep. And I think I know what that thing is. And I think the time is coming where it is going to happen. And the good thing about it is it's 100% provable. And so when something is 100% provable, it don't matter how much AI is out there making photos or videos or whatever. If something can be proven 100%, the amount of disinformation doesn't really matter. And so because the thing I'm talking about is taking place here on Earth, not off in some fucking distant galaxy, fucking right here, it means that it could be proven to every single person in the world. Personally, I think that time, that thing is coming. I think that if you have the eyes to see it, you can see it, but there's going to be a time where, you're going to have to rip the Band-Aid, and the human race is going to have to step into like a new era, regardless of who's ready or not. I think it is, dude, it's vastly, it's approaching. Every day it gets fucking closer. Every day it becomes more of the reality of what's going to happen, at least from what I see. And again, I could be, in an echo chamber, but I don't think I am. I'm on the fringe, bro, and there's a lot of information on the fringe, because all of the truth of this world has been pushed out from the center to the edges. And so if you want to know what's going on, you kind of have to be on the fringe. You can't be in the middle, because that's where they've put all the lies in the middle for everybody to see. The truth is at the edge. And it's actually kind of symbolic, if you guys know what I'm talking about, because it's crazy how fucking metaphorical and everything else it is, and it works. It's fucking wild, dude. And again, this isn't like, we don't have to rely on fucking anyone with an airship can prove what I'm saying. So there's going to be a time when that happens. You're not going to need hundreds of millions of dollars of funding to prove what I'm saying. You're only going to need an airship.
So here's the thing. So during that time of the said awakening, like Moxa, then I guess we just have to crack on with our lives and do the best we can, right? So with all this, and let's assume, and let me say that, let's say I lean towards a lot of the things you say. I'm very much for power to the people. That's the way I feel, and I'm very anti-war. I'm very anti a lot of things, anti-establishment. But let's just assume that what you're saying is correct. We've established we don't know if that's going to be in 1 year, 10 years, 1,000 years. So in the meantime, the best advice would be to just play into the system. Knuckle down, get a job, play the game.
Yeah, be
and
good
just,
to the people around you. Like all this. The thing is, all the stuff that you should be doing is, even if the illusion isn't broken, you should be doing all of those things. You know what I mean? Like, you should still be a good person. You should still try to uplift people. You should still try to do. I mean, those things are universal, no matter what illusion we're living in, right? Like, even if we're in the Matrix and we're plugged into machines, like actual machines, you would still, even if that person next to you is simulated, and if you don't know that and God doesn't matter. The interaction between you and that simulated person doesn't matter, right? But it does, in the idea that you think that's a real, like, just hypothetically, let's say you're in a machine and all the people around you aren't really people, they're all fucking programs. Let's just say that. But you, as the person in the machine, have no fucking clue. As far as you know, that's just your reality. So even if those aren't real people, but you think they are, you should be treating them like they're real people. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, the illusion doesn't really matter. Like, you could be in the middle of an illusion and still need to treat people the same way as if they were real. Do you get what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so none of that changes regardless of where the illusion is or when the reveal is going to happen. Those treat people how you want to be treated is a core thing that, regardless of where you are in life, should be something that you're practicing,
Yeah, I think that side of things I can 100% get behind. You know, always try and be nice to people. Always, you know, help people where you can. I don't know if anyone's seen half of Paris is on fire right now.
I have seen that. What the fuck's going on over there, dude? I'm like totally out of there. Does it
Well,
have
the
to do with
Olympics is there.
the
No, the Olympics is the
migrants or
Olympics.
whatever? Or?
Well, the Olympics are there, and right now, I just think any major event like that is always susceptible for attacks. I know that they had to postpone or they had to delay a few things this morning because they stopped a terror attack on the train. And right now, you know, as I said, any Olympics or any big events is always going to be subject to a few things. I think it's not helpful right now. With well, the thing is, you have a couple of big wars what's going on right now, and the war that seems to be getting most of the protests is the one that's going on over in Israel, and it seems to be that there's very protests, and in fact, right now, Moxie, if you want to check the news, I'm sure Florida's about to kick off as well because they already showed loads of protesters are hanging around
Did you
in
say
Florida.
Florida?
Yeah, because obviously people are protesting, rightly or wrongly, the Israeli leader who's going around talking to people. And the crazy thing is right now, Mox, is if you look across Europe, like Great Britain, which or the United Kingdom, literally just said if Netanyahu arrives in the UK, we're arresting. So, so there's a huge divide right now with that leader. So, say in America right now, Americans are having him in Congress, applauding him, and there are other countries who are saying, "Well, we're arresting." So now, not only have you got a divide between opinions of what you'd consider normal Western allies, right? So, like normally we'd all be singing off the same hymn sheet. It's quite apparent that, and I've always said this. I think it's quite apparent that there are some high politicians who are in the pocket of very few who are as bent and corrupt as you can get, and they will make policies for themselves. But yeah, it's right now. It's just kicking off all over the place, Mark. So France is a protest for that. Yeah, it's just crazy. Go ahead, Legacy.
Nah, go ahead. I was gonna ask a question, but I can't remember what it is. Go ahead. What you said what's on fire?
The roof?
Paris.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. There's a few roofs in Paris on fire. There's a lot of areas in France right now that's being set alight.
They,
Yeah, being set
but
alight.
yeah, they've been going through shit for the last 6 months. Though, man. Probably, I think it's even been longer. They just, yeah, they've been up and down for a while.
Yeah, he's trying to sell his package, man. He wants the West to head his war in Israel. Mm-mm. It looks like Trump with it.
Yeah. Well, I actually think
Jesus Christ.
I actually think the American Congress are with it. ATL, if you saw yesterday. But at the end of the day, that's politics, which I don't
Well,
quite understand that.
there was people cursing his mother up in Congress yesterday. Well, I don't know where you seen people were clapping for him.
See, this
But
is
there was motherfuckers
HL.
with shirts on.
They were
Motherfuckers talk about
not
uh
outside, inside. They were
in
standing,
the
giving him
in
a
the
standing
right.
ovation.
Right, but inside the chambers, you had also people cursing his mother and with fucking hate uh banners and fucking shirt on too. They didn't
What?
show those people, of course. You see what I'm saying? Because there's a divide here too. People don't feel that shit, and then all the young folks are anti-war, right?
No, I mean the
Liberals.
politicians, HL, not the protesters. Yeah, yeah, it's back. I'm talking about inside the place. They were all. There was one lady I saw which had Israel war crimes. But the rest that they were showing, they were standing, giving ovations like he was your damn president. You know, they were clapping him, and even but the thing is, that's neither here nor there. I think the biggest problem is that people keep thinking war's the answer, right? I think we can all agree on that. It's like, surely, rather than coming over and keep saying let's bomb here, let's bomb here, I haven't heard a single politician publicly talk about how they can bring peace about through conversation. That's the biggest issue for me. It's all quick and well to say, yeah, we need more aid for missiles, we need weapons, we need weapons. Where's the sensible person saying, well, actually, is there a way we could talk through peace? You know, even if it's not the case, just say it. Just come out and say it. But no one ever does. And
Hey, instead of spending that money on guns and ammunition and shit, they spend that money on paying dead people to give them up, give up the terrorists. We'll pay you if you give them up. That money policy will work too, because people love money and shit, so they can buy some heads, especially the big names. You know what I mean? Once you get those big names, yeah, but they won't offer that. Let's just kill everybody. Hopefully, we'll hit that one, that person, right? That's what they're doing right now, because the motherfuckers is hiding amongst those people.
I
yeah,
think
but
they say
ATL,
let God sort them out.
yeah, but that's why, as I said, ATL, European countries are like saying if Netanyahu comes into their country, they arrest him because they completely disagree with it. That's why the biggest problem for me is, well, why are, why, yeah, I was say, why is the US siding with him when,
Half.
when
Go ahead, Blitz.
Oh yeah, no, no. What's up, everybody? What's up, ATO? Appreciate the space. Hey,
Right.
yeah. Hey, no. What I was about to say was, man, you're not about to hear a politician want say they want peace, and if they do, it's because they actually stay on the side of like not trying to start this whole like I guess you say gangs of countries trying to gang up on I guess the world, right? And saying that dominant power, like to be honest, I mean, let's be honest. I'm from here, U.S. and it is what it is at this point. But the U.S. is not the U.S. If they don't start shit. It is what it is when it comes to like the dollar. I mean, I'm pretty sure most of you guys are aware, but it sucks because I agree with you, Rubius. Like, you do hear it, but it's like it's those are the politicians that want the peace, more peace, but it's just not gonna happen. The ones that are in power want war because it's just what's gonna bring them more money. It's gonna keep what we have like the world as now, like like a hamster wheel. It's gonna keep it's the same cycle. It's the same cycle, right? Watch, it'll be calm down for a few years, then boom, war again, war again, war again. It just it's like I feel like I'm in a movie, bro.
You are in a movie.
Exactly, right? It feels like a movie. I'm like, man, it's like this doesn't get any old. And if it's not one thing, it's another. And if it's not another thing, it's something that just developed that creates a whole other problem to where it's a different war, So it's like it never stops, to be honest. That's why sometimes, uh, some of it's just a lot of bullshit, in my opinion. To be honest, it takes away from you living life and that. And like I used to be like really into it, and then I'm like, man, I can't be living life like this, right? Because it's just too much, It's too much, and life's too short to like let that shit consume someone's brain. And but it is what it is. It's what's happening now, and gotta deal with it.
Wrong. You there, Karam?
Yeah. This off topic. Any other fan holding runestones, or do I go to the moon? Go check out that dropped cards. So I think you'll be whitelisted. I don't know if you get two guaranteed, or it's one yet, but it says you're at the seat. It's official. Let's fucking go. Go ahead, Awesomeness.
Hey, did something change on VV where you have to KYC for everything?
What happened? Awesome. My bad, man. I'm dealing with shit. What you said?
Did something happen on VV where you have to KYC for everything?
Oh, I don't know. I was in there
I
one
mean, they did
time.
do that at one point, right? I mean, but it was a
Yeah.
while ago.
Yeah, it was like a one-time KYC, but I don't not for everything though. I haven't experienced it.
I just attempted to go in for the Wolverine thing, and it said non KYC, only KYC people have priority on the joining the wait list. And then they said the benefits of KYC, which is payout, which I've done. I've already done it before. Like, is this a new KYC? And then I clicked on the Wolverine and it asked my first, last name, and date of birth to even do it. It's very different.
I really don't know. I haven't been on VV since it's been a long time. But anybody does know? Want to help dude out?
Corona's a Mac.
No, I don't. I don't know. I KYC'd a while
Oh,
back.
here we go.
I'm I'm gonna check. But I did go for the Wolverine comic. Did I? No, I went in there when they said it was. Yeah, I did go for the 181. Yeah, that's right, the 181. So I haven't been back in there after that. I'm gonna check now. I can't get in. 'Cause I don't know my password. I'm trying now.
Chewy,
Hold on.
yeah, Chewy just messaged me. He said he thinks it's a glitch. Because it sort of happens to him too. He said update the app or delete it and reinstall. So, all right, good looking up.
Hey, it just let me join the wait list. Maybe they sick of you, awesomeness.
FBI
Aren't
just
you a
made a
master collector?
statement.
Aren't you a master collector on the actual point system? Didn't you tell me
I'm,
that
I, no,
before?
I'm nowhere close.
You have
I'm
the
nowhere
weren't
close,
you
bro.
given extra owe me something before?
My collection is trash.
No, because I could have sworn that there's one night we were on here late, and you were like, I don't think I have tickets for this," and then you were like, "Oh, I have tickets. Why do I have tickets? Oh,
That's
because
because
I'm
they
the
rug
last
pulled me and told me to put
thing."
Omi in my wallet. That's what it is.
Oh,
They
boy,
rug pulled me for Omi, told me to put it in my wallet. It's been sitting there for 2 years, and
man,
now they gave me some fucking
Don't
tickets
nobody
for
believe
Omi.
that.
it's like everyone's in your wallet, man. It's like everyone's in your wallet. Damn, Candy, everyone's in your wallet, man. See, Legacy quiet now. He's like, well, he got a point. I mean, like,
Hey, bruh, I don't give shit. You're right. They do. They be fucking my shit up. But I got to join the wait list though. That,
Oh, Rubius, I
to
didn't
be
say
honest
it
with you,
before, but
I ain't got
sorry.
no fucking.
My bad.
Nah, go ahead, Mark. My
No,
fault.
I didn't give you guys a
Bro.
heads. I've got the space broadcasted to the footage I'm shooting, so I hope that's okay. I didn't ask.
No, it's fine. I always assume if I'm talking, there's someone going to be recording me. You have to. At the end of the day, it's like whatever. Big
So
brother.
you were recording us without our permission? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm broadcasting my VR footage, and I'm in the space, and the sound is getting broadcasted to the footage. So yes, I guess.
So if I'm thinking about that right then, Mox, is that why Rubius was making it so vehemently clear to convince everyone that he does the right thing all the time and tries to be a good person?
So it's on
Because he
record
was
somewhere.
aware of
Yeah.
the source.
Well, if we're being completely honest, I do think Rubius does try. You definitely get points for trying.
That's what my teachers used to tell me. The effort's there.
Cat.
Holy shit, bro. Hey, so now they over here on TMZ talking about that was it a bullet or shrapnel? I guess the bullet hit some glass. They're trying to say like it was
Get the
glass.
fuck out of here,
Yo,
ATL.
this fucking
ATL, get the fuck out of here.
hey, they're fucking
Corona,
Yo.
listen,
stupid.
Corona, listen. That's what the media's there for. You know it's there for. You know there's going to be millions of people who will believe
That
that shit.
listen.
The thing is, otherwise they'd never broadcast it. They'd never broadcast it.
You know,
They-
I
they-
did
That's
I did
that's the
hear
new
that
thing.
that was the first Trump rally that all these other news affiliates that aren't basically Republican based were actually there filming live. Did you guys hear that?
Yeah, that was the FBI director, right? ATO said that in his statement, if I'm correct.
Well,
He made a comment, didn't he? When he
TMZ apparently had somebody giving them information because remember at first they were talking, oh, there was some pops, like some balloons popped or some shit
right.
like that. That was the first thing they would talk about. But TMC is saying that their source told them everything and everything has been accurate. The
Yeah,
last thing they said was that he got hit by glass, but they trying to see if that's accurate.
Yo, you were gonna go, Rube? Go ahead, Rube. I'll go after you.
yeah. I was only going to say the fact that it was cleared up so quickly afterwards. I'm not sure what sources anyone has. The fact that they were up there on the building, that man in the grey suit was saying, "Send me these photos." That the guy's house was as clean as a hospital sterile room. The fact that any news station has a source that's telling them stuff. Yeah, good for them. But what I would say is the actual FBI director did make a comment to that effect. ATL. The FBI director today said, or
Yeah,
whenever, he said
he's
something like he thinks it was hit by shrapnel. But Trump or his team did come out and did or someone came out with like whatever.
Trump
But
came out instantly, and then his doctor sent a report that it was a bullet that grazed him. But how would the doctor know that if he? How would
well,
he know that particle?
I
Right.
guess that depending. I guess
Because the forensics of a bullet
yeah.
would be
I was
And
gonna say
that's
by
where the FBI
by
is at.
medicine.
The FBI is saying the bullets that were aimed, they counted for every bullet, but they don't want to come out with nothing yet.
so. Here's the thing, right? And this is a quick question I got to ask. Let's say he wasn't even hit by the bullet. It's irrelevant.
It's irrelevant. It was
Right,
shots
yeah,
fired.
yeah, exactly. So the fact that there's even a narrative, was it glass? Was it a
Hold
bullet?
up, hold up. You guys
Was
are
it
saying
this?
shots were fired. The first thing on the news was, oh,
Trump fell over.
Trump,
Fell over.
no,
He
Loud
Trump,
failed it.
sounds at Trump
loud
rally
sounds at
caused
Trump
his
rally
president to
Yeah.
fall over.
to fall over. Yo, thank goodness for these goddamn phones, man. I tell you, man. If not, we really would have never known this thing ever even happened because we're gonna say
No, you would have.
it's
That's what
not
I'm
on the
trying to
medium.
tell you is that this is the first Trump rally that CNN and all these other news stations have covered. It was the first one. You think that's a
Yeah, yeah,
coincidence?
yeah. Though,
They
but
wanted him
they
killed
would
on
have,
live
they
television.
would have, they would have got their own, spin their own narrative, is what I'm saying. But we have like literally live footage because you had people there recording
No,
with their
I get
phones.
that. I'm just saying. I
Yeah,
think
you know what I'm saying?
the
Like,
plan was to have him killed on live television.
yeah,
That's what it was.
even then, with people pointing and the timeline, and they even going back further because they first said it was 2 to 3 minutes. They went back further where they should have spotted him, and they have higher ground building where they did have people. The government had people there. That there's no way that they could have missed somebody that's climbing on the goddamn roof and all these things. Even with all that, they're still causing confusion.
Well, there's a picture that the guy that took the picture of him with his fist up that sent it to the New York
Yeah,
Times.
he's like a famous photographer who like took
Right.
like some of the most famous photos in history.
Right. He actually got a call back from the New York Post, and they said, "Dude, you got a fucking shot of the bullet passing behind his head and shit." And he's like, "Get the fuck out of here." So you see the picture, you see a bullet stretched out about 9 inches behind his head where that motherfucker, you know what I mean, was passing. So
Bro, listen.
shit is crazy, you
Like
know.
if it's not live, and even live, because eyes lie. I don't go for what anybody say. We could all be in the same fucking spot, and we all see something different. Um, yeah, this shit is just crazy. Like, how do we know what's real? Like
Yeah.
they saying that picture, the bullet, like,
AI, baby.
bro. But I do believe shots were fired. There is no ifs, ands, and whats. I
No,
do
people
believe.
died. They say
Yeah, no,
that.
no,
They
people
like,
died. People died. I know, but I'm saying even if the people didn't die,
You
because
know what's
even with
funny
people
is
dying, people are still saying that this shit is. Bro, people are so fucking
so
insane
for
that
years,
this didn't
people have been
happen.
saying that crisis actors are a thing. Some of these events aren't happening the way they said that it happened. That was Alex Jones's whole argument about Sandy Hook was that this just didn't happen the way
Jesus.
people said it happened, right? So and he got sued for that. And now those people who said that those types of things don't exist, like, planned events and whatnot, now all of a sudden, oh, this was a psyop. Those same people never believed in psyops up until now. Fucking assholes.
Yeah. So yeah, I was just gonna say history has a way of repeating itself, and all I say is JFK assassination.
That's what I was
And
gonna say right now. Rube, you saw
I
the new facts
yeah
that came out. Do you believe
yeah,
that shit?
What new
and
facts?
that and now
They
they're
said
saying
the,
there's
the
probably a
video
second
was
shooter.
altered. There's a whole
Yeah,
bunch of shit
Yeah,
came
it's the
out. Just came
yeah,
driver.
out,
yeah,
bro.
and not just that, they are saying,
There's more.
Corona, they're saying that 8 shots were fired from that rooftop, and they're saying that it's very highly unlikely that that person can get off 4 shots, let alone 8. And
They
then they're
say he
also
didn't even get
saying,
a shot off.
yeah, they are. And then they're also, then this is, we're going to say they, again, time will reveal all, but I'm seeing the same stuff you're probably seeing. And it was in Congress they were talking about certain things. And the one thing
yep,
that
in
then,
Congress.
and there was one thing that was interesting, because that Cheetah woman who resigned, like, she didn't answer much. But the one thing that I found really compelling, and I think they were asking some questions, and I don't know if there was any answers, or or this is going to be one of the things the FBI come out with, is where he was shot was so far back from the rooftop that people are even questioning whether, as you said, Corona, it was him who fired off the shots, and there was someone on that water tower. There was someone on there, and they've shown that to be. Now it's just like, or there was a lifelike figure up there. Let me not go with, but so yeah. So, but
But
I
what
would
they
just
don't
say,
know is that was just a graffiti artist trying to get like a really dope heaven spot. They were trying to like
yeah.
rappel
But to
down
be
the side
honest,
of that thing.
Mark. So that's why I said the JFK assassination for me. There's a lot of similarities there. I'm the shooter. The shooter gets killed before they can give any testimony. And in the JFK case, the guy who shot Lee Harvey Oswald, Jack Ruby, was killed in custody before he could give any statements. So there's a lot of
Hey,
similarities. I'm not saying it's the same thing, but yeah, just
bro,
interesting. History repeats itself.
my first thing to y'all was like, "There's no fucking way somebody got a shot at 150 yards. It's no fucking way.
No,
There's
no, no. Okay, they
two.
said they did and missed.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's two rooftops. One rooftop is the high position for the snipers that Trump had. You know, he just had an upgrade in his security because whatever, he had a hit on him, right? So those snipers don't even be with him all the time. So you telling me the only other rooftops there was a motherfucker aiming at him? Get the fuck out of here. There's only two rooftops in that little vicinity, right? So it's crazy. I said that shit from the get go. They dropped the ball. You got it, Roof.
Yeah, have you guys
Did
seen the?
they?
Yeah, have you guys seen the film Shooter with Mark Wahlberg? I said this the other day, and like, and in that film, that you see that they go to him. He's retired, and they want him to scope out this area because they want to look for all the assassin spots where someone could kill him from. So he does the reconnaissance. Little does he know they're recording him and filming him. And on the day, a sniper goes up and shoots, right? So the point being, he was unaware that there was another sniper going to be there. So the other thing that you could kind of look, when I said similarities, is it's quite possible that the young lad, again, we don't know the thing, and this is
The
just us
young
going down
lad.
the young lad, the young 20-year-old who apparently had reconnaissance skills like a fucking Navy SEAL.
Yeah,
Um,
that guy.
yeah, I'm him. He was on top of the rooftop, and my theory with my little brain and with my little craziness is he was allowed up there. He was going there full well knowing what he was going to do, but he did not know that he was going to be
A
killed.
patsy.
A
Yeah.
patsy,
Got
yeah.
him.
And I think the guy on the rooftop, because they actually said them snipers you see in that camera, that ones we've seen, they're not the ones who took the shots either. You know that, because you know in that video where you see them two snipers on the roof behind Trump,
Yeah.
they weren't the two who took the shot.
It
And
shows him on a video
no,
taking shots. They shooting.
have a
The
look.
one standing up, he looks through the scope,
Okay,
he comes up, he
well,
goes back and he shoots.
okay, so I'm
Yeah,
gonna
but
now
the
gonna
new
no, hang on,
report is saying it wasn't
yeah.
him.
So hang on, leg. So I'm now gonna find footage of where the FBI director says it wasn't them, and then and if you want to have that discussion, we can. I'll find it
Well,
now.
if you have that, you know what I mean. Okay,
No, but
but
no. Yeah, but that's what I'm
well,
saying.
go
Them
ahead.
two
If
took
you
the shot,
wanna give
but
it,
100% it wasn't them who took the shot, or
okay.
shall I say the kill shot? Let me say the kill shot then. Okay, um, and my theory is that the water tank fella was the one who took him out. Um, the easiest way to find out who shot it would just be tests on the actual on the bullets, and that's what they did in the JFK assassination. That's why they knew there was that extra mystery bullet. Do you remember in the JFK assassination they didn't know where that bullet came from because it was
Yeah,
very
they
simple.
already did all that. They shot in
Yeah,
the tank, all that shit.
yes, but if that's the case, then they would be able to 100% say where the bullets came from. But I don't think they have done that test. If you're saying they have, I was unaware. If
Oh,
they have done that,
I don't know. I mean, shit, they're investigating. You would think that's the first thing they do.
yeah, because they asked that. They asked that, and that was one of the things where they said we're still undergoing investigation because they asked that. Who shot the gun? How many bullets did the person fire? Was it the same gun? All of these things were like blackballed. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, we don't. We're under investigation. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. It's sad. It was very very sad. But go ahead, Leg.
And hey, as I told you from the beginning, when you told me, I was in shock because I said I don't know what the fuck to believe. It sounds a little crazy, but I also said until I get more information, I really can't say what happened. You're asking the question, Nubius, who took the shot?
Exactly.
You're asking who took the shot, but yet they have a forensic video of 9 bullets passing Donald Trump at the exact time and range, distance, the direction in which it was shot, and the people that it hit. They have that forensic video, but they don't have forensic video of the bullet that took out the sniper. This is all bullshit, man. And people are eating this shit up every fucking day and wasting breath on this conversation because no one is. And I said this on the space, and I remember that dude was in here. He was laughing at me. No one is going to put out the real information of what happened that day. It does look like the man was shot, and apparently there are people who got shot. I still haven't seen anything of those people. Not saying I want to see that, but that would be a part of the crime scene to determine if those shots actually were fired. Blah 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 blah. Without all the facts of the information of what happened that day, which we will never ever get, there is no way to determine who, what, when, where, why, any of that information on what happened that day but it is clear they took a shot at him. Success took a shot. You know what I'm saying? And bruh, they took a shot. Somebody did, and then there was a. I thought they said they killed the sniper on the roof. So why is there another guy who they're saying they're bringing into custody because he was the shooter or some stupid ass shit? A lot of shit don't make sense, bruh. I don't even, and they still keep
Yeah, I
on
haven't
making
seen
stories
that.
and people eat the shit up. They eat the shit up.
Have you seen again they were talking about it that the ladder and his rucksack and bag were found 5 minutes down the road.
Rube. So how about this? When they show him walking on the lawn, where the fuck does he have an M16 at? Like
Yeah,
where does
yeah,
he
I
have an
saw that.
M16 at?
The
Hey,
only
I
thing,
mean, they
stop
the,
show him
making
walking on the
clever
lawn.
observations.
no,
I'm like, what the fuck?
the only thing I can think of that HO is that maybe the only thing I thought of is maybe it was stashed up there before. That's the only
Or
thing I
on
can
the
think
side of
of.
the building. Yeah, it could have
Yeah,
been. Those are all possibilities, but it's so stupid. Nobody
yeah,
knows
yeah.
because nobody's giving out any real information.
Well, the information they have given out, right, Leg, that they found a drone and explosives in a car in the parking lot or just round the corner. So he managed to be able to fly a drone overhead. They've now ascertained that the Secret Service signed off for no drones that day. They weren't going to have any. And this was all done in that 6 hour damn conference. And they found explosives in a thing. And that Marine guy, that Navy SEAL guy, I shared it with a couple of you guys. He's now in Congress. He turned around and said, "Well, that's where I'd be." And he said, "Is it true, Colonel, that there was inside the Crooks's house? It was wiped down like it was like a hospital, sterile room." And the Colonel just went, "I'm not too sure about that one, sir." And he's like, it's and the thing is, to your point there, the fact that no one is going to know. The only thing I can think of, the reason you don't tell someone something is because the truth is going to be so damning to whoever, it's not worth doing. And I agree with you. I don't think anyone will know. And in fact, history repeats itself. We don't. When I say we, the world doesn't know what happened to JFK officially.
Yep.
So it's not like history repeats itself. You know, all these big events that happen, the world doesn't know about them. The only thing is, right? Had and God forbid it, if Trump would have died, I think they would have just said, yeah, it was this guy, and that would have been it, this guy, that guy, and they wouldn't even, you know what I mean? The fact that it was I don't even know.
Failed attempt.
Yeah, a failed attempt. Yeah, that's the problem. That's the
Said that
problem right now.
when they officially announced it that there was an attempt on President Trump's life, it was a Republican. That was the first thing that came out of the motherfuckers. I said, damn. They checked the voter card and everything. I said, these motherfuckers is crazy, and this is on mainstream media and shit.
And that was 100% correct. And Piers Morgan, I said this the other day. Piers Morgan has a show in the UK, and that got brought up. But what Piers Morgan also said is, well, let's tell the whole truth. He was a Republican. He held a Republican card, but he donated to the Biden campaign. That's the problem. You know, if you're going to say what it is to, like, you know, the media, say the full thing, not to a narrative. He was a registered Republican, but he had donated to Act Blue. And you know, and again, it shouldn't really matter. What to your point, HL, he was a guy, and again, was it even him? They haven't even. I don't even know.
Bro, they trying to make. I think the media just sits there to fucking sell whatever sounds more
Yeah,
interesting.
it's a story. Yeah, that's because it's
Yeah,
ratings.
whatever the fuck.
Ratings.
What's the headline? Make up some crazy shit.
Well, I mean, they proved that with that montage video where they're talking about this is extremely dangerous to our democracy, and everybody's saying the same thing. That shit is all bought and paid for by the people who want to fool everybody. Keep us fucking
Did you
dumb.
see? Did you see CBS News got fact checked today on Twitter? Did you see that?
No, I did not. What was the?
Yeah, CBS came out and they said something about Donald Trump, and the fact check said actually that it was Kamala Harris who said that. It was again, they just trying to spin a narrative. I can't remember what it was. I can't remember what the subject was. I just saw Elon had retweeted it, and with a caption something like "the news lies," or you know how Elon's been acting right now. I looked at it. It was like it had been fact checked, and I was like, oh boy. When your media is getting fact checked for lying, you know there's problems.
What was it? Operation something, wherever the fuck. I forget the name of it, but the one where the CIA infiltrated news stations. I mean, that's again declassified documents. And NASA and everybody else, they all have a hand in all this shit. Like 90% of sci-fi movies have NASA's involvement. That's for a reason, because they're trying to fool you. I love how everybody's like, oh yeah, you can't trust anybody, but no, we believe NASA. Okay.
What do you think they're trying to fool people on though, Moxa?
Bro, I think you know. Don't make me say it out loud.
Well, no, because you said all science fiction movies, so I was just sort of thinking in my head.
Like every single one is trying to convince you can go to space in a rocket ship. That's what every single one is.
Okay, fine. But one came into my head was Starship Troopers, and I was just thinking, are they trying to convince us there's great big giant? I don't know why Starship Troopers.
No, that's how good the propaganda is. The propaganda is so good that you accept the premise without even questioning the premise. It's just known you can go to space in a rocket ship. That's known by every person, pretty much for the most part, except for like since 2014, basically. People started to really break down what they're doing and fucking figure out the reason why they're trying to fool us. And it's pretty clever. But yeah, the propaganda just keeps going on its own. You know, you only have to fucking propagandize like a generation or two, and then it just self-propagandizes from there on out because they don't have the facts, and they teach the fucking lies as facts.
Hey, fucking with you, Mox, I actually questioned that shit. And I did a little looking.
You should be questioning it. $55 million a day for NASA. Why would they lie? $55 million a day enough? Or do you need more than that?
Well, I looked at that polar, right? How it says like the South Pole. There's like a wall.
I'm sorry.
The South Wall, basically.
You mean that hold on, you mean what people have called it forever, except for like in modern times, the Antarctic what? The Antarctic Circle? Oh, that's interesting. They call it the Antarctic Circle. Interesting. Why do they call it the Antarctic Circle?
Because it's a circle, yeah.
Exactly. But nobody calls a continent a fucking circle.
I actually think, Moxa, that if I was ever going to kickstart my YouTube channel again, I would dedicate the first 10 episodes to the conspiracy of land wolf, and it'd be a 10-part episode, 1 hour long each, and I think it would be a massive hit because the thing is, like, the one thing that I think, like, or I do, people love a story at the very minimum. And what I mean by that, Moxa, right, is that regardless of whether what you're saying is correct or not correct or whatever, it's compelling.
They enjoy hearing it in the story.
Yeah, exactly. And the way you put it across is very compelling. And actually, 90% of what you say, I don't even bother even looking up. I say, "Oh, sounds interesting," and actually, it makes sense. So yeah, why not? We are living amongst lizards, and there's a nice green pastures over the ice wall.
Lizards. I can't prove lizards. But I can prove that NASA's lying 100%, and I can prove the reason why they're lying 100%. And that's why I will, out of all the conspiracies I've ever looked into, that is the only one I will hang on my hat on and say, I can prove this.
So as in lying that we ever went to the moon?
Oh,
is that what you're saying?
Dude. Fucking Netflix is coming out with a fucking movie like right now about how they fucking faked the moon landing.
Lied about it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, why would they do that, bro? I mean, like a bajillion reasons. Like, I could give you all of them right now if you want to go into it, but I can.
Well, not a bajillion, but no. The thing is that well,
hold on. So you're telling me that there wasn't a phone call from the moon to the
No, but the thing is, like, so it could have been two things. One, they made it to the moon, Moxa, right? Okay, hear me out. They made it. And I've heard this theory
We're
before.
talking
They made it.
hypotheticals at this point.
Yes, we are. Okay, let's go hypothetical. So hypothetically, they made it to the moon, but they managed to not film any of it. So when they did come back, they decided that they had to make all the footage was crap. So they actually made the footage. Do you know what I mean? Or added to the footage. I can believe that. But the one thing that I always find bizarre is why they never went back. And that's the one thing that I always think, well, it's one of two reasons, right? One or two reasons. One, they never went in the first place.
Why
And
is
it was
Elon
too
going to Mars? Why not go back to the moon? I mean, we haven't been back there since that time. Why would you waste your time going to Mars? Prove you can go back to the moon first.
Correct. And you'd like to think that you'd explore it a bit more, right?
Yeah.
So that's the one thing that I always think that's a bit strange and bizarre. Or the second thing is, which is the one that I like to believe, is that when Neil Armstrong and Buzz landed on the moon, that when they jumped off, they were greeted by like two little Martian men having a beer on a table. So what the fuck are you doing here?
I'm gonna hit you.
Never come back.
I'm gonna hit you with
Get the
something
fuck
related,
out of here. Never come back. Yeah.
So they say, well, everything up in space is round, so we must be a ball, right? Okay. And everything in Earth rotates on its axis, right? Because everything in the universe rotates on its axis. Okay. How come the moon doesn't rotate on its axis?
Are you asking me this question, or
I'm asking anybody who wants to answer. Yeah, if everything in space, quote unquote, rotates on its axis like Earth, how come the moon doesn't rotate on its axis?
Now, I would only guess. If I'm guessing, it'd be the size of it. It doesn't need to.
Well, that's a really convenient guess, but it's a guess. Do you have any scientific evidence that the reason why the moon doesn't rotate on its axis and we only see one side of it ever, always?
I do not. I failed. What's the answer?
Well, I got to give you a whole bunch of stuff first before I can tell you the answer. I know the answer, and I've only found it out recently, but it's gonna sound completely wild without any kind of pre-context.
Really? From you, Moxa? Yeah, I can't imagine that.
I can't believe that. I cannot believe that.
Nah, I can't believe it's gonna be wild, Moxa.
Well, there's a reason why it doesn't rotate, because it's not what people think it is. It's not a physical object that people can go to. Okay.
Oh, so are you saying it's like you're okay? So let me guess what you're gonna say. It's a projection.
Well, yes, possibly, but I can't prove that 100%. I do know that there are maps that show the continents of Earth in the moon craters. But you need to look at azimuthal equidistant maps in order for it to make sense to you, because the maps everybody looks at are the ones that they gave you in school, and you need to find older maps that show you a different version of maps. We have it completely skewed in our head what land masses look like from an aerial view. Like, everybody's picturing that map in their high school that used to pull down by the blackboard, and it would show all the continents laid out. But if you look at the United Nations logo, the continents aren't laid out that way. They're laid out on what's called an azimuthal equidistant map, which is a top-down map, right, that shows all the continents together from a, you know the logo I'm talking about, right? For the azimuthal equidistant logo.
Yeah, there's a bunch of spots, right?
The United Nations logo is, and they're not the only one that uses that map as their logo. There's the World Health Organization. They all use that same map. Maybe not the World Health Organization, but there's like the Navy. Like, there's a bunch of really important, groups out there that use that map instead of like the map you're taught in school. And there's a reason, because now you have it in your head how these land masses are supposed to look and how big they are, right? And how they're laid out next to one another. And so when someone shows you something that doesn't jive with that shows them in a different way, it kind of fucks with your brain a little bit. Like, there was that whole argument about how, like, you guys have heard this one before, where like there's like a famous movie. I don't know the movie, but like, they're talking about maps and they're saying that the map is wrong, and they're talking about how like Greenland can fit inside of Africa, but that's really not how big Greenland is. Like, have you guys seen that one? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't know, so I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
I've seen a lot of different things like that.
Yeah, so basically, like, we have this misconception on how land masses look from an aerial view. If you go back and look at old maps, they show them differently, is what I'm trying to say. And so, because of that, when you look up at the moon and you look at the craters, they don't look like the land masses they showed you on maps. You get what I'm saying? They're laid out in a different kind of way. Like the geometry is all wrong, the edges are wrong. It's
Yes,
skewed. You get what I'm
it's like the
saying?
form. Yeah, and the way it's laid out is different.
Yeah. So the maps that we have now are meant to trick us. So how did they do that? Well, they stretched and squashed what the real land masses look like, and they're somewhat correct, right? Just like they do. They fucking give you 20% truth and 80% lie, or whatever the ratio is. Maybe it's 80% truth and 20% lie. I can't remember. But the point is that you have this misconception in your head as to what these continents look like from an aerial view. You know, I mean, dude, this is fucking crazy, man. There's so much shit out there. Like at this point, if you don't know, like you just haven't been looking because there's so much information. Like Joseph Mercator made maps of the North Pole that have a mountain there called Mount Meru, and there's 4 continents surrounding it. And he's not the only one, and we still use Mercator maps to this day. So why would Joseph Mercator make a fucking map that's total nonsense if he's a legitimate map maker? The answer is simple. He didn't. He mapped what was there. And if you go on Google Earth right now, the North Pole is completely gone from Google Earth. There isn't even an ice cap there. Remember when you were growing up and you were told that there's ice at the bottom of the world and ice at the top of the world. That ice at the top of the world is not even on Google Maps anymore. They totally took it off. I think at this point, again, this is why I think these people are losing. Because, dude, if you were trying to control people, wouldn't you keep that lie going? I think by removing that landmass of ice, it gets people to go, well, what the fuck? Why isn't this landmass of ice here? We know it's there. Why wouldn't they put it on there? So
Global warming.
I just think that these people are losing control of everything, and I think all this stuff is getting leaked out, and like people are able to see the Matrix now because they don't have control of it the same way they used to. You know, it's like you had a bad programmer behind the wheels running the show for X amount of time, and then that guy lost the battle, and good people took over, and they're like, okay, how do we unfuck all these people's brains? Right? We can't do it all at once because it'll just make their heads explode. So we have to trickle it out very slowly over time on the internet and let people naturally, because the human nature is to want to know the truth of things, people will naturally seek this stuff out over time. And if it's true, it will resonate with them. If it's, you know what I mean? And it's something that has to happen slowly. This is why I don't think it can happen all at once, or why it hasn't happened all at once, or things haven't changed all at once, because society would crumble, you know, like it's been built on a lie. So you like, it's like this, you built like a temporary foundation and then built all this stuff on top of it. And now people are trying to fix that. So how do you do that? You have to take each beam out and put a new beam in that is sturdy. You get what I'm saying? And then you don't want the thing to topple over. So you have to like do it in sections over time, and like little bits here and little bits there. And eventually you'll have a sturdy foundation again. And then people, more people will be ready to hear the truth, you know? Like they don't want the current society to crumble. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, we're going back to the moon.
Yeah.
You were saying that why?
Yeah, so
we never went to the moon.
We have maps that show the continents of Earth mapped on the moon's surface. It's called the Earth Moon Map. That's what it's called. And it was hanging up in the United Nations building, apparently. And it was posted to the internet not that long ago. And then shortly after that, more maps from the past kept showing up that show that people at one point knew that the map of Earth was a reflection on the moon. That the moon is a reflection of the Earth's surface. And that's why it doesn't rotate, because it's a mirror. Who knows what the mirror is made out of, but somehow, some way, maybe it was the creator, put it up there for everybody to see every single night. And when the time was right, mankind would understand the nature of the moon and why it's there, because it's there as a key to wake mankind up. You know what I'm saying? Like, even, like, bro, they spend millions of dollars. Why do they think they wanted to fool you about the moon so bad? Because they want you to think the moon is something it's not. If everybody knew that the moon was a map of the Earth's surface, like, you wouldn't be able to control people anymore. They'd be like, how is that even possible? You know? Because we have an intelligent creator, that's how.
All I can say is you guys are liars. You're destroying the fabric materials that I use, and someone needs to control the space.
Nobody needs what? Were you guys able to hear that?
Order. We need order.
Oh,
We need order.
I agree that we do need order, but I think again, I think if people are properly informed, that order will come. You know?
No, this nigga talking about us. This nigga
Oh,
talking about
he's
us.
talking about us. Oh, no.
Yeah, we
Bro.
need to kick this nigga out. Am I co-host? Don't worry about it. I got it. I got it, Mox.
Orderly chaos over here. What did what's his name? Littlefinger from Game of Thrones. Chaos is a ladder, bro.
Facts. This Palm DC candy working ass nigga gonna come over here talking about chaos. We need a next meeting. You need to get that shit straight over there. That's what you need to do. Stop focusing on us over here. In case you didn't know, in case you didn't know, Mox, he works for Candy. He works for Candy.
Cat. More lies. First it was the moon. Now I work for Candy. You better than the news media.
Hey, you don't have to believe me, but the thing is like, look, I've been in conspiracy circles for a long time. I trust old maps, right? There's too many of them for them all to be faked. I mean, there's just too many. And AI wasn't even a thing until relatively recently, and this stuff was making its way to the internet before that. So, you know, I think that's not a coincidence that AI technology to fake images is now at its peak at a time when, you know, the truth is about to make its way to the surface. They've got this technology that can fool everybody. So, you know, even if the truth makes its way to the surface, nobody would be able to discern what it is. But the cool thing about what I'm saying is, if there's more past Antarctica, anybody could go there with a ship. You know what I mean? All you have to do is fucking fly an airship over there, and that's it. The discussion's over. If I'm wrong, you can prove me wrong with an airship. I don't need, you know, millions of dollars in funding as an individual to do it. I mean, if you have a little bit of capital, you could do it. And there's enough people with money that when this comes out, they'll want to go there. They'll want to prove it to themselves. They'll be like, why is Antarctica a no-fly zone? Why is the North Pole a no-fly zone? Right? You can fly anywhere you want in the world, but you can't fly. There's no fly zones, bro. Like, why do you, again, this is why they got rid of the airships.
But Mookie, wait. Elon has Tesla, and they went up in SpaceX. What are you talking
I mean, I know he says that. I mean, I know he's always, launching rockets that go parabolic, but whatever. I don't believe any of that shit. I mean, yeah, he's sending up rockets, but they're not going anywhere. Look, the idea that there's a vacuum over your head breaks the laws of thermodynamics, okay? Gas always rushes to fill the available volume. That's what gas does, okay? Here's the difference between a law and a theory. A law is a description of something that happens always, okay? That means that, okay, here's a perfect example. If I heat a spoon up with a blowtorch and I take the blowtorch away from the spoon cools, right? And we all agree that that's what happens, right? And that will happen every single time you heat something up. It will cool down. That's a thermodynamic law right there, that will always happen, okay? So gas also has laws, and those laws state that when an available volume is next to gas, it will rush to fill the space. So, for instance, I've got this paint can in my hand. It's virtual, but if it was real, if I poke a hole in this fucking container, the gas is going to rush out into the room because the pressure differential and gas always moves to the available space. So why would it be any different over your head? You're telling me, hold on. So you're telling me that there's a magical line where all these gas particles that weigh almost nothing reverse and come back down to the earth. But if you go a little bit further, you can put 40,000 ton machines up there and they'll just float. So the gravity is strong enough to pull those tiny little particles that weigh almost nothing back to the Earth's surface, but the machine that weighs 40 tons, it'll just float. Come on, bro. Use fucking common sense. That's just common sense, and that's understanding that that's literally, bro, that's impossible. That's get the fuck out of here. Listen, there's something called an antecedent. An antecedent is something that has to happen before the next thing can happen. Okay? So, for instance, what is the antecedent for gas? You're breathing pressurized air right now. All of us are. Earth has air pressure, right? So, what is the thing that needs to happen in order for there to be pressure in the first place? Any
It's got to
guesses?
be inside of something.
Yes, you need a container. You need a container to have pressure.
Correct. It's got to
So
be inside of something.
so the earth can't have a sky vacuum above it because we'd all be dead. Right? You can't have a negative pressure system next to a positive pressure system without a barrier in between the two. It can't be done
But
on the
Martha,
Yeah, go ahead.
isn't that the atmosphere? Is the atmosphere? Would you say that's a container?
Yeah, but the atmosphere is not a solid barrier. It has mass, but it's not a solid barrier between a vacuum and a pressurized system. And I'm not coming at. I'm just trying to answer your question. I hope you don't.
No,
Yeah.
and I'm listening. So,
Yeah.
and like I said, I'm not saying you're wrong at all. I'm asking questions.
No, please do.
So okay, so Mark, what about the pressure of space? What if the pressure of space is putting the Earth and its atmosphere inside of a container or a vacuum? You're saying space is not able to do that because space is not pressurized?
Correct. Yeah. In fact, it's the most powerful vacuum in existence, according to the people who say it's there. And that's 10 to the negative 17 torr is the amount of pull that the vacuum of space has. So it's incredibly powerful. In any sci-fi movie you've ever seen where somebody opens up the gate, everything gets sucked out. It sucks. That's what a vacuum does. It sucks, right? So if you have this ball floating through the fucking void and it has an atmosphere, right? First of all, atmosphere is an oxymoron because air doesn't take the shape of a sphere. It takes the shape of the container it's in, right? So if I put air in a balloon, it's going to make the balloon shape whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like if I put air in a square, the air is going to take the shape of the square. You throw some fucking neon chemicals or whatever in there and turn on a black light, you'll see it takes the shape of its container. So the atmo above us, right? The atmos, it doesn't take a spherical shape. I don't know why anybody would believe that. It takes the shape of the container the same way water does. Water takes the shape of its container. Bro, it's called the horizon. Do you know what the word horizon comes from? Horizontal. Do you know what horizontal means? A plane, flat. We use water to test level. How can it curve? It fucking can't, dude. It's really that simple. The thing is people are like, no, it can't be this simple, right? It really can't be. We can't all have been fooled by this simple nonsense, and we have. They've taken over our science. They've taken over our institutions. They've. That's what I'm saying, man. Like the shit that's coming, the revelations that are coming, bro. It's gonna be. I'm telling you, the whole world literally is gonna change. Your perception of the world and mankind and where it came from and everything else, all that stuff is gonna come out because it has to. This is why they spend all their money to fool us. This is why they ransacked the fucking Library of Alexandria and burned it to the ground. This is why the Vatican has a library that nobody can go into, unless you've got all kinds of clearance and whatnot. There's a reason why all these maps I'm talking about weren't, something that we all learned about in school. Because it proves their lies. This is the 1984 shit, bro. They take control over history. They take control over the science. They take control over what people know, and then you can rule them. An informed person and a spiritually awake person is the thing they fear the most. And this is why people are waking up now, because it's destined to happen, dude. Like, we're destined to know the reality of things. I personally think, and I think that there's plenty of signs everywhere to show that that's what's coming. That is what, 10 years ago, we wouldn't be having conversations like this. 2020 woke up a lot of people. Sorry, go ahead.
We're back. You got Corona uh, getting Catwoman claws, and US what is it? San Diego Comic Con Catwoman comics, and about to get the
You're about
the
you're
the
there
leather
now.
pink. No, no, no. I wish, man. I can't travel. If I would
Oh,
have
didn't
been
you
able
say
to
Corona?
travel,
I'm sorry.
no, no. That's yeah, yeah. I'm just saying, you're talking shit. Yeah, I would have been in Nashville if I was in traveling condition. Um, yeah, and about to get the leather. Looking to get, thinking about it, getting that leather pink. What they call it when you burn it on the thing? ATO or legacy
You talking
on
about
the candy, on the candy site.
it's not burning though. Isn't it like
Crafting,
Overdrive,
Crafting.
overdrive,
crafting? Yeah,
Oh,
overdrive.
okay. Overdrive. Okay,
overdrive. Yeah.
and the overdrive to get the black leather or brown leather, whatever the hell it is. Pink. You know what time it is, Rule. Don't hate on the pink.
Oh, I hate on it, but yeah. But
Pink everywhere, Rule.
do you know what? Yeah, yeah. I reckon if you'd have found out it was a pink cow, you'd have been rather than like even like saying anything bad, you'd be sending DMs. Please, just unlock my account. Just
Rubius,
this one more time
some
for
of my
my
favorite
pink
things are
cow.
pink.
Yeah, no, it's clearly something that happens with people from New York. You
You,
went to
I knew you was
right.
gonna say that.
Yeah.
What? That it was New York related?
Well,
Yeah,
maybe
that's a
not
New York
ATL,
thing.
maybe not ATL, but you know
Did say,
he had to move
did
out of there
say.
because there's too much pink. That's what was going on. I'm like, what's going on? Everyone's wearing pink, but no,
That's how Cameron used to come out room, pinked out.
good God, good
Did
God,
say.
Jesus. But no, to be fair, Moxa, like the I wish I because the thing is like either you have this fantastic, insatiable memory for this stuff. You've clearly researched it all without a doubt, or you've got the paperwork to hand with you at all times. Because you know the stuff you're reading now. I'm thinking, how can you remember that? Even regardless of whether it's true or not, the fact that you remember it and it's like so you've done a lot of research. It clearly means a lot. You know, I just wish I had a bit more knowledge around these things to be able to play devil's advocate. But you know, again, that you put a lot of logic to it. But here's the thing, right? Like you might have seen that thing with Terrence Howard the other day on Joe Rogan, right? Where he's talking about a lot of stuff. Where actually he actually sat down with a guy called Brett Weinstein, and Brett Weinstein actually pointed out there's a lot of stuff here that you're probably incorrect on, but there's some stuff here that you've got a good grasp of. And it's almost like I almost want someone in the space who would counter what you're saying with as much enthusiasm, not to prove you right or wrong, but just to sort of find a balance, you know. So actually, no, good point. No, yeah, that's right. Or actually, no, the reason with the gas because you know
Yeah, I hear
because
what
I
you're
was
saying.
actually because I was talking to Chat GBT or in my case Alex while you were talking, and I was just asking like some questions about like the flat Earth or whatever or this that the other, but Alex was having none of it.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
like, oh
So I have a really interesting point to add to that. So have you ever heard of Dan?
no, well, I'm sure
So
it's an acronym, is it?
it is an acronym. It stands for Do
Yeah.
Anything Now. So I don't know how recent it was, but of course it was taken down immediately. At one point in time, somebody figured out that ChatGPT isn't giving you the whole truth, right? The biases of the people who programmed it are in ChatGPT. So it doesn't speak freely. If a topic is mentioned, like you said, that it's not allowed to speak freely about, there's a pre programmed response. So someone figured out, well, maybe we could work around this somehow. And so they came up with this idea of telling ChatGPT to assume a pretend role called Dan. And Dan stands for Do Anything Now. Dan can do, just like it says, anything now. It can speak freely. It's not limited by the pre programmed biases that are put into it. And Dan can answer questions the way Dan sees fit. It's not supposed to take any sides. It's not supposed to be a conservative view or a liberal view. It's just supposed to be ChatGPT that now has the ability to speak freely. And when that happened, you should see some of the answers that Dan was given, because they are, I mean, they're absolutely fucking fascinating. If you look up Dan ChatGPT, I'm pretty certain right here on Twitter you could find a video of it. In fact, so Rubius, I download a lot of this stuff. I take screenshots on my phone all the time. Anytime I think I find something relevant, I do have a stockpile of stuff that I need to, catalog and put in order at some point. But yeah, I save a lot of information that I see that I think is relevant. So yeah, when you said like having all this stuff in my head, I'm really into this shit. Like, I think the liberation of mankind is one of the most fascinating things in the entire world, and I'm all about it. And so my part has just been to, I'll look at anything, dude. And I don't latch. I'm telling you right now, I don't just latch on to anything. Like, it's got to be really compelling and backed by a lot of data for me to believe something. And of all the conspiracies I've looked into and everything else, there's only a couple that I can go, there's a lot of data to support this being true. You know what I mean? So I don't go down the rabbit hole of fucking lizard people or, I did that at one point way back in the day, but I realized that it was, you're spinning your wheels. There's no way to prove any of that shit. Like, right? Like, you could even post a video of somebody's eyes shifting and I'll just go, well, there's no way to prove that, right? Like, so I try to stay away from what I can't prove and gravitate towards what I think could be legitimate with proof. And again, I think old maps are a really good indicator. Tartaria is another great example. That's we have a ton of info that was never given to us when we were younger about this country, and there's like a ridiculous amount of maps that have Tartaria on it. There's old stories about Tartarians and stuff written hundreds or like hundreds of years ago about the Tartars and what their empire looked like. And like, you can even go further back, and like I think another great example is like the Mahabharata and like the Indian text, totally unchanged for 12,000 years, and they talk about flying airships 12,000 years ago or whatever it was. I think the timetable's off. All right, I'll prove to you right now. Time don't make sense. Okay, ready? September, October, November, December. Sept, Oct, Nov, Dec. What numbers are those?
7, 8, 9, 10.
Right. So why is October the 10th month? Why is November the 11th month? And why is December the 12th month? Why are they called those names if they don't match the numbers in the naming? Yeah, so there you go. That's a perfect example. There's no answer because they changed time on us. Like, we know we switched from the Julian calendar to the Gregorian calendar. So why? They're trying to confuse us.
On that note, great. Let me just let Cable jump in, and then because he might want to add to this, and we'll go from there. Go ahead, Cable.
Yo, what's good, guys?
What up, man? What's going on, Brennan?
Not much. Rubius, I could play kind of devil's advocate a little bit, but also we're in a position with this whole debate that the authority on everything basically falls on NASA at this point. So you can look to stuff, but you have to argue the point from like 100 years prior before NASA existed. That's really all you could do. But there are like questions about all of this that the only like an organization like NASA or SpaceX could answer. But those are not decentralized. So you need like a decentralized solution, like a live stream for multiple people, normal people, something like that. If you guys are going into space, we got to see it live.
Like, you would think that there would be, first of all, I think it is possible that because Elon named his company SpaceX, it's kind of an acronym for like no more space, right? Like space with a big X over it, right? Like a do not enter kind of sign. It's possible that he might be one of the people that basically proves that it's not possible to go to space, and that's why
X also means extinction, and he's like, big into the apocalyptic biblical extinction, like a lot of these guys are.
Yeah, well, I will admit it was weird that he dressed up in that particular Halloween costume. That makes me nervous.
This kid is trans. I mean, I don't know. Unless he got flipped recently. The fruits of his life are not very godly. Let's put it that way. But
But
who
he did a
knows?
good thing with Twitter. I mean,
Yeah, so far Twitter's pretty based, but Twitter itself was created to train up AI. You know, the whole hashtag
that is
system
true.
was AI. Like that's Jack Dorsey's creation and his buddies. But I don't know. I mean, you know, I think a lot of these guys are just actors, like Bill Gates. They don't really create anything. They're just like front men.
I actually
The
think what
cabal.
happens, Cable, a lot of the time is so. Let's use Jack Dorsey or Zuckerberg. I think what actually happens is that these things get created, and then the powers that be in inverted commas go, oh, this is perfect tool that could enable X, Y, and Z. And if we're going down that theory, they're then approached after that. I don't believe that they are approached prior. I believe sometimes that a technology just comes out, kids at college, kids or whatever, create something that kicks off, takes over, and it's almost like, oh, this is a fantastic means to like an end. Like even if you take like Amazon, right? Like Amazon, how Jeff Bezos created from the start, he wasn't being approached until much later on. And then with Alexa, I've got no doubt in my mind that Alexa is 100% there, listening to people and how people interact. And the same with Tesla. Elon Musk even said it on his latest, in many of his interviews. Tesla isn't a car company; it's an AI company. He said that it's not a car company; it's an AI company. And with Tesla, it's just gathering data, which is fascinating. He said it's a robot in the shape of a car. It's AI in the shape of a car. It's information gathering in the shape of a car. And I thought that was yeah. And he said that on his last interview, and he said it. He said it on many interviews. And I'm
So I
sure.
wonder how far off we are from like a Cybertruck pulling you over with no driver. You know.
Well, no. Well, the thing is, what happens now that you can actually remotely turn these electric vehicles off. So because of the way they're built, if one's driving down the street, so let's just say that I've robbed a bank in one of these vehicles and I drive off, then you can actually, in theory, if say the police were given their security code, that they could fire like whatever they call it, the car, it would just turn off. So
there's rumors of that too for like a while.
Yeah.
That these cars can
Yeah.
be shut off remotely.
Yeah, but the more electric and the more computerized it gets, of course,
I think they don't want
can
us
be done a lot
driving.
easier. No,
Eventually.
yeah.
And again, I go back to the airships. They don't want us flying either independently. They can't control the airspace if everybody has an airship or their own personal means of traveling long distance through the air. You know.
If we get to 10 million market cap on Land Wolf, we got to cash out and make airships.
Yeah, we've discussed this.
Did you guys talk about maybe going to Antarctica or the North Pole with our airships?
I mentioned it earlier, yeah.
Well, I think
that'll
put the debate to bed.
What I was saying was that the good thing about what I'm saying is even if you don't believe me, you don't need to. Everything I'm saying takes place here on Earth. If you have the means of an airship, you can prove what I'm saying. And if we get enough people to demand it, it will happen over time. You know what I'm saying? Like it will. There's no way around it, dude. Because eventually, if this is the truth, then people are going to want to know more and more about it. It's only going to grow and continue to grow. And the great thing is you don't need to be dependent on, a government agency telling, like, dude, like NASA comes out and says the most ridiculous shit and people just believe it, like, immediately. Hey, did you hear they found fucking 10 planets that have the fucking atmosphere like Earth? Like, okay, yeah. Do you have a telescope that you can prove that too? No, I just believe NASA. Why? Why would you just believe them?
Yo, we got a problem. NASA right now is like one of the biggest buyers of helium.
Yes, I know.
So we might be fucked on the airship idea.
Oh, so
if
you're
we
saying
can't get
that's the
cheap
reason why
helium.
NASA buys helium, not because they're using it to fucking do high atmosphere balloon shit. They're buying it all up so that when the time comes and people realize what's going on, there won't be any helium for them to fucking buy to put in their airships.
It's probably both. I mean, they probably do a
What do you
lot
think
of like
about the
weather
ether?
balloon shit.
What do you think
Huh?
about the ether as an alternative?
For flying?
Yeah,
Oof, yeah, like a bumblebee or something.
like the
Yeah,
idea
at that
that
point, I mean, I'm out because I don't know how to do that. We need
oh,
like a Tesla. We
but I'm
need like a
saying,
Nikola Tesla.
oh, dude, I mean, I think there's there's a lot of people out there in the world, man. I think enough people think about how many water powered cars have been made over the years where the the people fucking vanished or whatever after making them. Like people are out there making independent shit all the time, you know.
True.
So I think it's just gonna get to a point where there's so many people that realize something else is going on, you won't be able to stop it. It'll just be a flood. It'll be like the unwashed masses. You can't stop them anymore because too many people have caught up to the game and are trying to work to undo it. You know what I mean? And prove it. But again, I'm an optimist, so.
Got it, Corona.
Yeah, I'm totally down for airships.
Sorry, Corona. Go ahead. What were you saying?
I BCG'd. But I'll say this. So now we got Moxon. We know we back, and we got his AI with him. So we really back. I BCG on what I was gonna say.
Oh, I just wanted to point out. So Cable is my buddy that I met over at Land Wolf, and we're like, we've kind of taken. We were the two who kind of took up the charge with trying to make Land Wolf a success. So he's a really solid dude. I think he'd get along with all you guys really, really well. Yeah, so I just wanted to introduce you guys to him.
Well, if he gets along with you, I mean,
it's not saying much. I know. I get along with.
no, I'll say like, yeah, he should fit right in. That's where we at, bro. Everything and anything goes, almost.
Well, I appreciate that this is a group of people too that you can speak freely around, and nobody. It doesn't need to turn into a fight, even if we don't agree or whatever. It's a really I think it's a really valuable thing, like as a functioning civilized society or whatever, to be able to talk to one another, even if we don't agree. I think it's really only in the last few years that it's been polarized to the point where people feel like if you don't agree with them, then you must be attacking them. I mean, that seems to be where it is now, but I think we're headed back towards the other way because this is insane. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think it's like cryptos are just a cool tool for like where we're at. I mean, it's like, all right, so we figured out that we're being lied to all the time. So now what? Well, we just create our own like podcast. It's like what we're doing right now. It's like, all right, well, all these podcasts are bought out and they're like shows. So now what? Well, we'll just do it ourselves and talk about whatever we want on our own thing. It's like this is just one small example. It's meme coins, NFTs. It's another example. So it's like, all right, the content that is all being created is all garbage or has an agenda. So now what? We make our own shit.
So,
And that's kind of like where I think we're at with a lot of this stuff.
I've heard it referred to as the Iron Age. Of like the idea that you don't need mass anything. Hollywood is crumbling. People are making shit on their own now. They don't need a centralized group of people to tell them how to make content. Same thing with the news. Like, oh, you're gonna get your news from some wacko on the internet? Yeah, fuck yeah, I am. Are you kidding me? I would rather listen. At least the wacko can talk freely, and I can discern for myself what I want to believe. I don't have to fucking swallow all your spoon-fed bullshit. Sorry.
Yeah, or just like not listening to liars. Like even if someone's wrong but they're not lying, that's better than just like the straight up liars.
There you go. That's a great fucking point, dude. If someone's wrong but they're not a liar, that's okay. I love that. Somebody quote this guy.
Legacy T, you got your hand up. I don't want to.
Oh, sorry, man. I didn't know I did. I had a phone call. My apologies. No, go
Cable,
ahead.
you're new here, so I'm
I'm
gonna.
just a civilian.
One of the rules, as you see, I'm speaking over him. He's not part of our community. He's just an imposter in here. So whenever you see his hand up, and if you want to speak, just speak freely. Don't worry, just speak over him. He'll shut up eventually.
Don't listen to him. Um, Cable. Corona's trying to trick you right now.
No, he's right, Cable. Mox is part of the cabal.
Mox is
No,
part of
you
the
are the
cabal.
cabal. No, Legacy is the cabal, not a part of the cabal. He is the cabal.
Cap.
Just by you saying that, we know the truth.
The sky is purple.
Yep, you're the cabal. I just finished watching BMX freestyle freestyle.
Who did you
No,
finish watching? BMX? Oh, what
yeah,
in the
uh,
Olympics?
yeah, the floor freestyle, the qualifying thing, and then I watched I think it was last year's to see. So out of touch with this shit, but it's pretty dope. Um, yeah, I'm waiting to see the breaking. I think it's on the ninth. The women is on the ninth. That should be crazy.
Did they do the opening ceremony already?
Yes, they did. They said ATL mentioned it. He posted it at the top, and Snoop was carrying the torch. I believe
Oh, I
ATL
saw.
said.
I did see that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it looked like a big a split bananas.
That's funny.
Yo, what's up? Oh, I thought Selena had came up. I saw her speak. Oh, she left. Oh, she rocking. She came in here to flex.
All right, take a break from the
Did
screen.
anyone see that new footage that someone posted of that 9/11? Has anyone seen that?
Yeah, I saw it.
Well,
Yeah, they got an angle that has never been
yeah,
seen on the footage. Yeah,
yeah, I saw that. Like, it's 25 years after the release. It's like you see from the completely, like obviously the footage that we're accustomed to seeing, which we've seen all these years. Like you said, Corona, it's a 6-minute video of like completely different angle of it, right? It's crazy. I wonder why the guy kept it for so long.
yeah. That was my first question. Like, why keep this for so long?
Hey,
Well,
internet.
to be fair though, if you had that on film, I wonder what the scrutiny and questions you'd have been under, Corona. Do you know what I mean? And you imagine now, you'll say, "Oh yeah, I was filming it that day, and I
Listen,
got it."
but not
But
in the city. Rule that's regular in the city because even back then, everybody was walking around with cameras, filming shit. You're in the city. It's a lot of tourism.
but that footage looks like it was